Boom! We are back for some more Premier League predictions this week, Sophie. It's my favourite time of week, Thursday. We've got predictions for this weekend's games. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Set us a like target.
3,900 likes, and I want to hit it on this one.
Yeah, you've got to do it. And there's people that watch these videos that don't do it, and they just need to do it. Hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe as well, guys. Thank you if you have already got involved, but if you haven't, help us push to 89,000 subscribers by the end of this week. All it takes is one click of a button. The scores from this week so far, Sophie, I am winning. There is still 2 games to be played out tonight between Ipswich and Brighton and Manchester United and Southampton, but I had a decent week. Also, by the way, we had quite a few people in the comments, Sophie, saying that they quite liked your mug. Don't go baking my heart.
I couldn't if I fried.
Let's get into the predictions. We start, Sophie, with Newcastle United versus AFC Bournemouth. Already, it feels like a really good game. 2 teams that have been fantastic this season. 2 teams that are happy to go and prove people wrong. I mean, they really both could finish in the top 6 this season. Mm-hmm. Newcastle, definitely, you know, we could see them in the top 4. They're currently in the top 4. And I did do a prediction a week or 2 where I said they're going to stay there till the end of the season because they are the form team. And they've got maybe the best striker in the league right now in Alexander Isak.
They keep saying, he's injured, and then he plays. And I love it because he's in my fantasy football. But yeah, he's so good. He's on fine form right now.
He is. He's my vice captain, actually. Alexander Isak is fantastic. You've also got Gordon, you've got Barnes, and they kept a clean sheet against Wolves last time as well, so that's brilliant. I think they might win again, but I think this will be a harder game because Bournemouth have a real fighting spirit.
Yeah.
They are missing forward players, but they're still scoring goals. They scored 2 at Chelsea, and what a goal from Semenyo, I must say. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just edge Newcastle. I think it'd be very close. Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 1.
Yeah. Go on, I'll say 3-1 Newcastle. It didn't pay off last time, but I think it might this time. That's no slant on Bournemouth because I think they're a very, very good team. Obviously, I'd mentioned last video that they are without their forward players. They've only really got Semenyo to play up top, but he's a cracking player. He's very, very solid. So they're playing Newcastle. Newcastle are at home. They're in fine form. So for me, Newcastle are going to win this one. And I'd say 3-1.
I just never like backing Bournemouth to lose, though. Honestly.
No, especially when they are playing really well and then you think, maybe I should have backed them to get a draw or to have won that one. And I thought they were going to win at Chelsea. It was only like very late on that they then didn't walk away with 3 points. But after the first half, I thought, this is Chelsea's to win. Second half, they grew into it and
Yeah, for sure. And this is also an Eddie Howe derby. On to the next one, Sophie. Brentford take on Liverpool. An interesting one. Brentford with a decent comeback against Manchester City. They rescued a 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
Liverpool, we got quite a bit of stick from some Liverpool fans for not backing them to beat Forest. Okay, we backed Forest and it was a draw, but it proved that you shouldn't underestimate either of them. I mean, what a good game that Forest-Liverpool game was.
It was, yeah. Obviously, we're 2 neutrals, we're commentary fans, but watching that, you're like, oh my gosh. For Forest to score so early with Chris Wood, great finish, you think maybe the keeper should have done slightly better, but not taking it away from the finish. You think, okay, they just need to sit back on that now. We know how solid they are defensively. Matt Sells, my keeper of the season so far, he's actually unreal. Aina as well with a couple goal line clearances. So Liverpool were literally chucking everything at them and they were just soaking it up for the most part. So to get a draw, you're like, okay, do you know what? Because they don't play possession-based football at all. That's not their style and it's been working. But the quality that Liverpool have, you thought, I can see why people were backing them to win. You think, he's not going to lose to them twice, surely, which he didn't. But I think they were very fortunate that Mohamed Salah had like an off game as well, because I think if he's done his A game, he's like world beater really, isn't he? I
thought Nico Williams dealt with him quite well though.
He had a solid game, yeah.
I thought it was a really, really good game and it showed why Liverpool are such a good attacking team and Forest are such a good defensive team. But that's what works for those teams. Mm-hmm. As for this one, Sophie, Liverpool have now drawn their last 2 league games. They've drawn to Forest, they've drawn to Manchester United. They did lose that Carabao Cup game to Spurs, so they do need to win. I don't think it'll be easy because it's at Brentford and we like Brentford when they're at home, but I am going to back Liverpool. I'm going to back them to stay top and keep that same gap over Arsenal and Forest. I'm going to go Brentford 1, Liverpool 3.
Oh, okay. I'm going 2-1 Liverpool. I think they might just edge this one. Brentford, we've said so many times, very good team. They've got a few good attacking players, to be fair. I think Visa goes almost unnoticed sometimes because Mbeumo is such a key player that everyone just focuses on him, but really they have got other good players. Liverpool, we've said before, they've got quality all over the pitch. They're rightfully top of the league. They have, I don't want to say dropped points, because in some of the games they didn't deserve to win them. They weren't then leading and then, they've dropped points there. But Man United turned up, Forest turned up as we expected. Two good teams on their day, especially Forest. So maybe Brentford could get a draw and really frustrate them, but I am going to back Liverpool. So they get back to winning ways, 2-1.
2-1 and 3-1. We are both back in the Reds though, and it's just about winning at this stage. You've got to go back to winning ways. The next game, Sophie, is Leicester versus Fulham. Boy, how Leicester need a win. They lost again in midweek, and there's just a real lack of fight. I really don't like being patronising and saying I told you so, but
with the sacking of Cooper.
I did have a suspicion that it could be a bad decision. I know he wasn't universally popular at Leicester. I know the Leicester fans didn't like Steve Cooper's style of football, but they were getting more results, and they look so open, where I actually backed them to beat Palace because I thought home advantage, they might get a win. No, and they didn't even score. So I've got to go for Fulham here. I know Fulham lost in midweek to West Ham, but they're a good enough team to bounce back, so I worry that Ruud van Nistelrooy's not going to last very long at this rate. Leicester 1, Fulham 2.
2-0 Fulham. What I'm seeing from Leicester at the moment is, not enough fight, but you've mentioned it, they're way too open. They're conceding goals for fun right now, and if you're not even scoring goals, then you're never going to win a game. How Michael Owen is that? But I do agree that I thought that the Cooper sacking was a little bit premature, seeing as they were above that relegation zone, and you think right now they're going to easily slip into that. I can only see this going one way, and that's a Fulham win, so 2-0 again.
Yeah, both back in Fulham. Yeah, I think Fulham are good enough to go back to winning ways, and they're the favourites for me. Leicester, I don't know. We've got Leicester fans that do watch the channel. Do share your thoughts, but it's becoming difficult to back you. I backed you to beat Palace, and it just wasn't good enough, was it?
No.
On to the next one, Sophie. We go to a London derby at the London Stadium as West Ham take on Palace. Two teams that got good wins in midweek. Got to talk about Graham Potter with a 100% record in the Premier League for West Ham.
Yeah, just leave now.
Yeah, what a perfect record. I think it's possible he could get back-to-back wins here because they've just beaten a very good Fulham team.
True.
Palace are a good team, but West Ham have the home advantage again. But I don't know, I mean, I did underestimate Palace away at Leicester. I didn't think they'd win. They did. They've only lost one in about 10 games. So I actually want to back both of them to win this.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
But I'm going to go for a draw.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's the fairest thing. I'd love to see Graham Potter make it 2 wins from 2, but Palace are just so hard to beat right now. Let's go 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going 1-1 as well. And I think, do you know what? That start for Graham Potter isn't terrible. It's 4 points from available 6. So
yeah.
I know they're at home again, so you're going to want maximum points. But Palace are a very, very strong team. And when you've got Mateta in the pitch, you always think, okay, there is a goal threat. So yeah, 1-1 for me as well.
1-1. Yeah, I quite like that. Like I say, I could go either way on that one, but I didn't back either of them to win in midweek, and now I'd feel bad to back either of them to lose.
Yeah.
So it's a hard one. I mean, West Ham with the home advantage, maybe they're favourites, I don't know. On to the next one, Sophie. Let's go to the Emirates as Arsenal take on Aston Villa, and I managed to get both of their predictions right on Wednesday. I did back Arsenal to win the North London derby 2-1, and I backed Villa to go away and win 1-0 at Everton. And a big result that for Villa, Sophie, because there is a lot made about, it's going to be a big atmosphere because David Moyes is back in the house.
Yeah.
Villa killed the atmosphere.
They did.
They got the goal. They shut them up.
Watkins as well, and he hasn't been firing, has he? So I think he needed that.
And Villa have moved back into the top 6, I believe, which I think it's top 7. I think top 7, which they needed to do. But this is difficult because Arsenal are going to have to win. Arsenal need to win. Great win against Tottenham, and if they're wanting to chase Liverpool, they've got to win again because remember, Arsenal have gone out of the FA Cup. They're on the verge of going out of the Carabao Cup. They've got to try and keep the Premier League title hopes alive. Otherwise, this season really fizzles out. This is hard. I don't really want to go against Villa, but I know that Arsenal have to win. But it doesn't mean that they will.
No, exactly.
just to make things interesting, I will give Arsenal the win to keep the title race alive. Arsenal 2, Villa 1.
So you're back in the 2-1 again, which I can see happening, but do you know what? I might go for a draw. I think Villa could turn up. They're obviously fighting for the top 6, top 4 ideally this season, so they really need to be coming here and getting something. I think the win would be massive, but I think right now against Arsenal that is a bit of a stretch. So yeah, I'm going to go down the middle on this one. I'm going to say 1-1.
1-1. I'm kind of glad you've done that, actually, because I was caught between a draw or back in Arsenal just.
Yeah, double chance, then yeah, you would go for that.
Having said that, it's not impossible Villa could win here.
No, it's not.
Villa did do the double over Arsenal last season, to be fair. On to the next one, Sophie. Let's go to Everton versus Tottenham. Feels a difficult one to predict because you've got two teams that are a bit unusual when it comes to predictions. I mean, that said, I did actually back them both correct last time because I backed Everton to lose 1-0 to Villa and Arsenal to beat Spurs 2-1. I'm not sure with Tottenham, Sophie. When they're at it, when they're really at it, they actually look like the best team in the league. When they go away to Man City and win 4-0, when they beat Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, they can look like the best team. But then they draw with Tamworth in 90 minutes and they kind of throw it away against Arsenal. That said, Everton, they've lost their last 3. Is David Moyes now going to get the reaction he wants? Because, you know, you'd like to think that Goodison might still be rocking for this one, even though they lost the first game against Villa with David Moyes. I'm going to go for a draw. 1-1.
I think surely Spurs win this one. I know that's not good for Moyes to come in and then to lose 2 games on the bounce, but I'd said before when he comes in, he's got a massive challenge on his hands. Could he hit the ground running? I don't know. It really does depend which Spurs team turned up. I feel like I say that every game. I'll say 2-1 Spurs. I think they might just nick it, you know.
Okay, fair enough. Feels a tricky one to predict.
It is, yeah.
Spurs need to win because what are they doing down in like 13th place? And then Everton.
Equally, they need a win as well, really. Yeah.
I know at this moment in time, I think it's between that bottom 5. 3 of those are going to go down. But I think Everton should be all right.
I know, I always say Everton will stay up, Everton will stay up. But then sometimes you do get a surprise, and those teams that just stay above, like we saw it with Birmingham in the Championship last season, you think they'll stay up. And it's like, oh, they've gone down. So I would be shocked if they went down this season, though.
Everton like to play tricks on people. As soon as you think they're safe, they'll drag themselves into trouble, and then as soon as you think they're in danger, they start getting away from it.
Now. Yeah.
On to the next one, Sophie. Manchester United take on Brighton. Difficult to predict this because we are recording this Thursday and these two play on the Thursday night. Man United are at home to Southampton. So
should be a fairly easy win.
We did back them to win that game. We did back them to win, and it's an opportunity for Man United to get 6 points. 2 home games. Brighton haven't won in a little while. They're away at Ipswich on the Thursday. I think this will be a draw. I think Man United will beat Southampton and then get a draw in this one, and it's like a decent 4 points this week. I'm going to go 2-2. Desmond.
See, I was going to go for a 2-2 as well, but it's so hard when you're predicting second because then you start thinking like, oh, shall I go for the same one? I felt like it beforehand. So do you know what? I'm going to stick with it. I felt a Desmond for this one. I do think they will draw, and I think there could be a couple of goals in this one. Brighton, again, on their day, they are a good team, but right now they're not in the best of form. Man United, I wouldn't even describe their form as patchy because it's just very inconsistent. They won't have like a good run of form. It'll just be a great result, a poor result, an okay result. So I think this one, to be honest, drawing against Brighton, I think that's a good result. Yeah. I know they're at home, but probably the Man United fans will disagree. They should be winning this one, but I don't know, if you win against Southampton, as you say, and then draw this one, it doesn't look too bad. More than half of the league have drawn to Brighton. They've got the most draws this season, 10 draws so far. On to the next one, Sophie. Let's go to the City Ground as Nottingham Forest take on Southampton. What an opportunity for Nottingham Forest to go back to winning ways, because they had 6 wins in a row, drew with Liverpool, which is a very good result. And as we said, we watched it. I thought the performance was fantastic. Chris Wood scores his goal, and they defended for their lives. Yeah.
honestly, I've not quite seen a defensive performance like that in years.
The atmosphere as well, midweek, by the way, was insane at the City Ground.
The Forest fans were electric. It was siege mentality for some of the game. They had to dig in deep. The keeper was fantastic, but at the same time, they still did carry that threat with the pace of Elanga and the finishing of Chris Wood. I think Forest will go back to winning ways now, and I think if Forest had beaten Liverpool, the title race would have well and truly been on.
Yeah.
If they'd have lost, it'd have been over. But we're kind of as you were. It's in limbo. I think it's still possible. Liverpool are away at Brentford this week. They could definitely drop points there.
Exactly.
So if Forest win this very winnable game, they will move on in the title race. I'm going to... it's difficult this, because I don't know if Forest will win heavy. They should do, because Southampton are a struggler, but Forest play fairly defensive. I reckon
counter-attack.
I'm going to say that on this occasion, Nuno will smell blood. He's going to take the handbrake off. Forest 3-0.
I'm going 3-0 as well. And do you know why I think it will be 3-0? Because I think some people say, but because they don't have much possession, it might just be 1-0. No, I think because they don't have much possession, we've seen from Southampton so far this season, they cause their own mistakes. So if you let them have the ball, they're going to create the chances for you. Now that sounds very harsh on Southampton, but we've seen it in so many games this season that it's just stating facts. So I think this should be a fairly comfortable one for Forest, 3-0.
Yeah, like I say, Forest very impressive against Liverpool. The City Ground is electric, and like I say, myself and Sophie will be there in February, so we're looking forward to that. On to the next game then, Sophie, as Ipswich Town host Manchester City. Once again, we will point out that recording this on Thursday means we don't know what Ipswich's result against Brighton was. I think we both backed them to get something. I think you backed them to win.
Yeah, I backed to win.
As for Man City, Sophie, we did both back them to win 2-1 against Brentford. We were so close.
Nearly.
They conceded in the last minute, and it kind of sums up their season.
Yeah.
They're dropping points left, right and centre. So I think Ipswich could get a draw. I think they could. Or Man City win by 1 goal. And do you know what? I'm not going to take any risks this time. I'll just back Man City. You know how much I like Ipswich, but I'm going to go Ipswich 1, Man City 2.
I knew you were going to say that, because that's what I'm going for. 2-1 Man City. Genuinely, it seems like I'm copying you, but this is in my head before even yours talking. I see Ipswich scoring, and I see them having a few chances where you think, it could be 2-2, or they might even take the lead. But I think Man City, surely they get the win in this one. They need to. They really do need to. But they were 2-0 up against Brentford, and they walk away with 1 point. So it'd be massive if Ipswich could get a draw. And I'm not ruling that out, but I do think that Man City, they do have the quality to get it over the line. They should. I keep saying should, because you just don't know with the Premier League this season.
No, you don't, to be fair. Right, the final game, Sophie, it's an interesting one. Chelsea versus Wolves on Monday night. And I'm trying to work this out in my head. Chelsea are the favourites.
Yeah.
They've got the better team. They're having the better season. But their form has tailed off a little bit. They're dropping points here and there. Still getting a few draws against a couple of decent teams. And they take on Wolves, who had improved when Pereira first came in. But they just lost 3-0 to Newcastle, and they lost 3-0 to Forest. I'm not sure. Do Wolves bounce back and get something here? I think they could. I think Wolves
get a draw.
I'm thinking Wolves could get a draw. I got a real scolding from the Wolves fans in the comments the other day, Sophie. They were telling us, how do you not back Wolves to win? Well,
What, against Newcastle?
They lost 3-0.
Yeah.
That's why.
I predicted 3-1 and I got it wrong. I said you'd score.
Yeah, that's why. Because it was 3-0. But I'll be nice this time. I think Wolves can smell blood here. Chelsea have dropped points, and I'm going to back Wolves to get a draw. I'm going to go 1-1.
Wolves need to turn up in this one, because Chelsea in the last few games, they're not turning up. Not for the full 90, because I would say first half sometimes they're playing really nice football. I think Maresca is getting it wrong with some of the subs. Sometimes he's not seeing what the fans and the neutrals are seeing. But you've backed to draw. I need to go different. I'll say Chelsea edge it 2-1. I'll probably get all the scolding from the Wolves fans now, saying, how are you backing us to lose again? And then watch, they probably will.
Yeah, did you just go and knock back Wolves?
Yeah.
Outrageous.
After 2 back-to-back 3-0 defeats. how could I not back you?
Well, do you know what's interesting? Wolves played on Wednesday, Ipswich play on Thursday at the time of recording this, and Wolves have actually gone below Ipswich because of the goal difference got so much worse after the Newcastle game. It's crazy tight down at the bottom. Guys, that wraps up the Premier League predictions again for this week. Honestly, thank you so much for your support. Please do keep it coming. Get your predictions in the comments. Make sure you've dropped a like. Make sure you're subscribed. Get involved with all that good stuff. Got lots of predictions coming over the next couple of weeks. We're back with Champions League predictions next week, so look out for that. A massive thank you for you joining me today, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace out.